Hi, this is Shu with a review of a Nike runner, walker. I think it was originally a running shoe. It's not the latest model. I don't have exactly uh, an accurate idea of when exactly the shoe was released. It seems like it was something from the 90s, or at least something that's supposed to pay homage to some models from the 90s. It's Air Max LTD, I guess it stands for Limited, 3. I've checked out the 2s and 1s. They look exactly the same. The tech spec and everything is the same. So I don't know what those numbers are for being released in later years, perhaps. Uh, if you've tried the Air traditional or the conventional or better known Air Maxes in the past, Air Max 90 is one of the more popular models, and it doesn't have a completely exposed air. It's got encapsulated, but with a little exposure there. This one, it's exposed all the way around. This type of Air Max cushioning, it's a little different, but this is the initial Air Max cushioning that they've been used. It's like a little tube of air connected to more tubes and another long tube here. So basically, these foam pillars make up a certain percentage of the space that's in there. Sometimes the air sole, if it's max volume or any type of air sole, regardless of the PSI, sometimes maybe because of the PSI, because of these pillars, right? These pillars and how hard the air capsule is, you don't feel it. It's hard as rock, and then you feel the cushioning once the air starts to expand and go out of shape, and it's not serving its original intent, but actually it feels better that way when it's stretched out a little bit and the foam pillars are softened up a little bit. Or they don't ever get there until it's punctured. After they're punctured, you actually feel a little bit of a compression. So in this case, this is great. This one actually you can feel it. If you try the recent Air Max models like the Air Max 720s or the 290s, was it 290s? Is that the right number? Anyway, there's a huge tube of air, and it's for those models like you've seen in the LeBron 17s, a huge tube, and in the middle it's just a foam. So that's the design they have. But it seems to serve its purpose well. The compression is there. I think that's better than the Air Max Air Vapor Max. Vapor Max actually looks great, but they don't feel that great. I mean, they've got really too much soft, overly mushy compression on the edges, and not so much on the forefoot. Same goes for the 720s. You don't feel much in the forefoot. Basically, you don't feel anything on the forefoot. So that's my complaint. And on the heel, it just compresses a little bit too much if you strike on your heel, and then it feels kind of hard when you're striking flat-footed. But this one, it provides a good balance. As you can tell, it's actually quite stable despite the size of it, which is good. If you try the LeBron models with Max Airs, you feel a little bit of an instability. There is no fancy gimmick around here, just some sturdy foam and good hard heel cup. But it's very stable. At the same time, it easily responds to you. It compresses very well around the edges and also at the core of it. So you can feel a smooth ride, and at the same time, you don't need to wait until the air is expired. So it's good. It's a great air sole here. And the midfoot, probably because the pillars are the same material as the midfoot materials you can feel. They didn't specify what exactly it is. They didn't say lunar. They didn't say react. They didn't say Cushlon or anything like that. They didn't say injected Phylon. So I'm assuming this is an EVA foam. And I've had great basketball shoes in the past where you just have a little bit of an airsole on the heel and a good soft EVA midsole, and it actually feels just as good, if not better, than air soles on the forefoot. And that's the case here. They have a nice this shoe, the Air Max LTD 3, has a nice little insole. It's not too thick, not too thin, but it's quite responsive. It hugs you, it cushions you. It feels like a good carpety feeling. It's like the insole they use in the Air Force Ones, except a little bit plushier. The midsole, it's EVA, and you can really feel it. Even if you take out the insole and try it, the forefoot cushioning, it feels just as good as the React 290s or the LeBron 17 lows on the forefoot. Not exactly carbon copy of React, but that's just how soft it is. So, gotta give props for the LTD. I love this type of EVA setup where it's soft on the forefoot, and on the heel they provide some degree of resistance and bounce and shock absorption with this large volume outsole, which is not too hard, not too soft, but just nice. So this is comparable to the Air Max 290 React, except some people are complaining that there's a bit of an unbalanced, uneven feeling in terms of the heel compression and the forefoot cushioning, but this actually provides a smooth heel to toe transition ride. And a lot of the Air Max retros, like the Air Max 94, the 96, the 97s, they're retro and reissued to death. And I remember wearing the original Air Max 94s, the same cushioning they had for the Chris Webber basketball shoes as for the runners. They are so soft. They are so soft on the forefoot and on the heel. Too soft, you might say. And then the retros are hard as hell. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Nike, stop ripping us off. If you want to put an air sole, make sure we can feel it. If you're not gonna just put it as an ornamental purpose, don't charge a few $100. We'll pay $20 for it if you're gonna give us crappy products like that. As they get retro, the cushioning tech is not the same as they used to be. Rock hard. So the Air Max 97, the 94s, the retros, you don't feel any type of air until you puncture them. So this Air Max LTD is a whole new world in that sense. The fit, the toe box is a little bit of a dead space, so I would suggest if you like a tight fit, go down half a size. If you just like an ordinary fit for strolling, you can go true to size. But for narrow fit, or for those who want a tight fit, go down half a size. It's not crazy narrow. It just has a little bit of space on the forefoot. Everything else about the shoe is good. The inner padding is nice. There's a little Achilles support. Doesn't protrude or cut into you or anyway. They're pretty malleable. The heel cup, as I told you, is good. I love the shiny pearly white swoosh, and it weighs about 370 grams for a size 9, which is quite light. The outsole is pretty durable, pretty dull pattern for forward movement traction. Not a lot of side-to-side resistance or traction, but you could use some sculpting knife and shave them off a little bit. It's pretty thick, so you can experiment with them. I may recommend that. You might want to experiment with that because there's a lot of materials that you can sacrifice. Even without that, if you're just gonna play outdoors or on a clean hardwood, then this is okay for lateral movement requiring sports as well. It only costs like less than $100 in most places. I do hope they keep this up or maybe upgrade them even further in future releases.